I'm Jody Megerly. I'm the superintendent of the school district. Ryan Berry is our assistant superintendent for business services. He just started with us this July, but was here for a lot of the Euclid construction. So I'm excited to give him this project and not have to worry about it. And then Mr. Timmons is the principal at Indian Grove. So what we wanted to do tonight was go through some of the renovations, and we wanted to host it here so you could actually see some of the difference if you had ever been here, but you will be able to see a lot of the similarities. We have the color palettes for both schools, Indian Grove and Euclid, so you can see some of the similarities in the design that will look very, very alike as we remodel Indian Grove. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Berry. You want to take the construction, Joe?
Oh, did you want to hear about the construction, Joe?
That's what we're here for.
Well, we're still working.
Can't get any corner.
So this process has, it's been a long process, but just for the work that's already happened at Indian Grove, last summer, if you've driven by the school, right, you notice still a lot of trucks and people on the roof. So probably most of the exterior work, with the exception of some, was done last year working on the roof. So the roof work kind of helped us remodel and get some of the new mechanical equipment that we're bringing out of the school and ready for that, new siding, things of that nature. And then in September, construction bids and HVAC bids were approved by the board for the rest of the project. So what we're gearing up for this summer. Moving into November, we got new furniture approved by the board, and then in December, the planning meeting started. We tried, started meeting with the architects, with the construction managers, with all the contractors, kind of starting to coordinate, again, over 6 months in advance of when we're actually going to start the construction process. Finish some things in the winter, January and May, so like right now, we're telling all the teachers, purge and pack everything that you can. If you haven't used it in a while, get rid of it.
Teachers like keeping stuff.
Yes.
So
Teachers like keeping things, like I like keeping, screws and extra, phone cords that I don't even have the phone with anymore, but I still have the cord, just in case, right? Teachers work the same way. So spring break, we hope to do some of the HVAC and sprinkler work, trying to get some of the things done in some of the bigger spaces when we have the time, because we only have like 93 days from the time school ends to the time school starts in the fall to get all of this work done. So very quick turnaround time. And then May 30th, I think school lets out at 1:40, demolition starts at 1:41. We're in there moving boxes, getting all the stuff ready to go that weekend. So other exterior work that we're doing is resurfacing the north asphalt. So out by the playground where, a majority of the use is on the asphalt. All that asphalt is getting repaved, so stripping it out, new blacktop, new painting, all the way up, basically replacing the whole thing. We're also getting an updated camera system, so it's nice to be able to see everything on the playground, be able to see the buildings. When you have these one-story school buildings, kids like to get on the roof, they like to do other things, They go to school, they play, they're kids. So new camera system also helps, we're able to see outside all day. So if somebody's on the playground, before we let the kids out, we kind of know that too. So there's, that extra security piece. Other highlights is the board approved last night solar panels at Indian Grove and Euclid to kind of offset some of the future costs of the new buildings. So over spring break, we'll be removing some trees. It's kind of weird. You need to remove trees in order to put in solars, but the plan is to potentially replace the trees at like 2 for 1. So as you can see, all of the property down here and over here is school district property. So there's a lot of different places we can plant new trees, but these 3 and those 2 trees eventually will be going down so that after construction we can put up new solar panels as well. I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Timmons to talk to you about the inside.
All right, so kind of orienting yourself with the map. The main office, the front entrance is right down here. This is door number 5 where the kids come in the morning, and this is the gym. Those are probably the areas of the building that you're most familiar with right now from inside and outside. So thinking about the common areas, we are doing a lot of things to upgrade kind of the safety and security aspects of those. One of the big things is we are improving the hallway orientation. You'll see the colors that here, so it's easier to find the rooms, and we're also renumbering the rooms so that it's easier to find when people are in the building. Naming each hallway 100, 200, and 300, as opposed to just kind of like the upward numbers that we have now and the weird lettered numbers that are all over the building too. So it'll be easier to find things when you're in the building for that. We're also redoing the floor in the hallways and in the lunchroom. The flooring, when we get into the classroom work, the flooring's being ripped up around all of the doorways because we have to widen the doorways to be ADA compliant. Because of that, instead of the board discussed salvaging the floor and just doing part of the floor, ultimately it was decided to match what was done here and redo the floor. Same thing within the classroom when we get there. And then the lunchroom floor and this lunchroom floor will actually be done this summer also. The other piece that we're adding is vestibules on the majority of doors that don't have them. There's one door where it doesn't fit because of where the classroom door is, but the vestibules add extra weather protection during the colder months and the warmer months when we have air conditioning on, and an additional safety piece too. We're also going to be adding vestibules and fire doors on the ends of the glass hallways. So the hallway that connects the new 300 hall and 200 hall, and the hallway that connects the 200 and 100 hall. Those entrances there, the fire doors will be able to close and create like one large vestibule for arrival in the morning and dismissal, so that it is more of a safer operation with that. All of the keys, the locks for the doors are being replaced by key fobs, which makes it easier if they're lost. They can be deactivated right away as opposed to having to rekey or replace locks. That is additional. We already have fobs on all of the exterior doors of the building. Now they're going to be on the interior doors as well. So those are things that they can be remotely controlled if necessary, if we need to lock the doors. But those keep the doors locked at all times. And then lastly, we are upgrading the camera system on the inside of the building as well, and giving us greater oversight over the common areas. So thinking about the scope of the work, it is really a domino effect because of where we are starting and the things that are happening is causing another thing to happen, and that's causing another thing to happen. So the story of our construction really is kind of like a story. So it all starts down here with our boiler room. Mr. Berry mentioned the HVAC systems that they're going to be putting on the roof. That is replacing our current boiler system. It is still a boiler system. The boiler and the chiller reside in this space here. With that coming out, they're also going to be adding sprinklers throughout the building, making the above ceiling work so that there are sprinklers in every classroom in the hallways. Because they are doing things to the plumbing, we also have to make sure that our bathrooms are now ADA compliant. So that now impacts this bathroom only. The bathroom down here, and this is the newest bathroom that was built in the early 90s, are in compliance now. This one was not. So that causes that to expand to be ADA compliant, which then hits the nurse's office, because that'll take out the nurse's office. So we found a space for the nurse's office, which then took out the student services offices. So then we had to move the student service offices, and that's taking a classroom space. And then lastly, with the ADA compliance, we also have to widen all of the doorways. That's going to be impacting what the classrooms will look like as well, slightly.
So one note about the HVAC, the biggest shift is moving from a gas-operated building to all electric. And so the new equipment, the HVAC systems are bringing in fresh air, so it's a healthier environment rather than a gas and water old boiler system running the building.
So yeah, I think I kind of hit on this already, but yeah, the highlight here is that
This is what our current setup looks like, where we have the boilers here, the chiller, I believe, is on this side of the room. With all of that going out, they're going to be rerunning the water main into the building, to this new room here, creating a little office space for the custodians, and then this becomes all of the electrical for the building. So we mentioned demolitions happening at 141. This is kind of a glimpse of what the classrooms will look like this summer when that demolition work happens. So the scope of the work, when we are looking at how the floor comes up, what it looks like with the board down, the bulletin boards down, and then the univent along the wall. With all of those things coming out, it takes up a good chunk of the floor.
And this bathroom on the left, actually, if you all want to stay and go see a couple of classrooms, it's the bathroom there in the corner. And that is almost done. So when the plumbing gets redone, the floor came up, all of the fixtures came out, you can see the ceilings come down. It is basically a full demolition of the building, basically down to pretty close to the studs.
So then with our bathroom up here, it's happening to get us into compliance with ADA code. Is making each of the bathrooms bigger, and the doorways for the bathroom is actually switching. Currently, they're up here next to the art room, the current art room. It's switching over to this side, and there's adding an additional single occupancy bathroom as well. So now there'll be at least one in each wing of the building. Dr. Megley just mentioned the flooring in the bathrooms. That is necessary because of the work that they're doing. Then the nurse's office is currently right here. That is getting moved down here where the student services offices currently are. So the nurse's office, the flooring that they're using is the laminate flooring, which does make it a lot easier to clean as well. So then we had to find a new spot for the student services offices. So we're taking a classroom, the classroom that's currently on the corner, going up into the glass hallway, and we're divvying that up into 3 different offices. So this gives us an opportunity to keep the student services team together, which is important to us because they do work very closely together. And it allows us to move our sensory room, which is currently outside of the lunchroom, in with that space. This gives them more of a private space. It's not something that's right off the hallway. There's a little bit more privacy for the work that they're doing, the work that they're doing with students. And especially for that sensory area, the students that do need a break in that room, it's not something where people will be able to see from the outside as they're walking by. It's more of a private space for them. And that's a look at the furniture that is going in that space. Classrooms, I mentioned that the doorways are getting wider, so our current doorways probably only go out to here. They're adding that, about a foot and a half next to that, just to make it ADA compliant. That does eat into the classroom slightly. There is currently one built into each of the classroom built-in cabinets. They're going to be adding another one. And then this is the wall in all of our classrooms that have the hooks on them currently. With us losing wall space, we also wanted to reclaim that classroom space, so we're going to be adding lockers into the hallways for students to keep their belongings in the lockers as opposed to on the hooks in the bathroom. And you can see what that would look like when we walk around here. I mentioned that a good chunk of the floor is going to be coming up with the doorway and all of the univent system coming out over here. It is going to be a mixed floor in all of the classrooms, where part of it will be the laminate flooring and the part of it will be the carpet.
Yeah, so part of the flooring in the classroom will be the laminate, and then as you can kind of see, the semicircle will be different colored pieces of carpet, so the kids can, go sit on the orange piece or whatever. And then other carpet to kind of finish the semicircle on the side. So you've got your definite teaching wall kind of in that semicircle space, where a flat panel, much like this one, will be up in all the different classrooms also. And then, especially in the primary level ages, kids can still go sit on the carpet, get reading time, math time.
The classroom, the teachers do a lot of switching between the carpet space and the desk space, and they use all the different spaces in the room. So having a designated space, that square that's set, like this is my area, is really helpful for the students when they're there. When we looked at the furniture to fill everything in, we actually had started to revamp some of the furniture prior to COVID. So for the past, since I've been in the building for the past 5 years, we've had some classrooms that have had newer furniture and some classrooms that never got new furniture. So it's been kind of a mishmash since I got there. So this is probably the thing that I'm most excited about, is that we will have uniform furniture in all of the classrooms now, so that everybody has a similar physical experience in the rooms. So the furniture that we get is the exact same plan that we have at Euclid. So as you go into the classrooms, you can see there will be some storage spaces, bookshelves. The student desks are going to be squared so that the teachers can decide whether they want to, how they want to put them together. We're reusing a good amount of the furniture that we have, that newer stuff that were in some of the classrooms. We're going to be reusing a lot of that, if not all of it, that is still in good shape and able to be reused. And then Mr. Berry mentioned the clear touch panels are going to be replacing all of the projector screens in the classrooms. There's been a lot of presentations to the board about why we chose these, so I'm not going to rehash everything, but I think it is really cool to know that these themselves are their own computer, so the teachers have a lot of possibilities for what they can use this for, things that they can pull up for the kids to interact with. It is completely touchscreen. I've had a chance to come and observe students using it here and seeing how they can interact with it. It just opens up a new possibility that's not available to us right now. This is the same, this is just a primary classroom. The furniture plan for the primary classrooms is slightly different, just because these were the classrooms that didn't have the new furniture. So they don't have anything that's being reused, so they're getting a couple of additional tables that the older classrooms aren't getting because we had furniture that was their size. And then we do have a couple of classrooms that are a half classroom space. Those are going to be fully carpeted, and then we will fit the furniture. It'll be less furniture so that it doesn't feel too crowded in there, but still have enough for the size of the groups that those teachers work with. So our interventionists, our multilingual teachers. And then the library, same deal. There's new events in the library that are coming up. The library is going to be fully carpeted in a slightly different pattern.
So is the yellow and green kind of are the circles or the semicircles?
Yeah.
So the two semicircles are the green carpeting, and then the yellow are the other circles, and then the rest of the library will be kind of this grayish carpet in between.
And then the current music room is going to be the art room next year. It actually was the art room before. So the art is going back to this, and there is a kiln in the building, currently in the boiler room, with all of that equipment coming out of that room being reorganized. The kiln is moving into a closet here, and we're adding a door so that the art teacher has access to the kiln throughout the day. It is something that he has taken advantage of, he's been using since he got here, so it is much more convenient for him to do that when he's there. And that's the furniture in the art room is slightly different because the tables that they need, the space that they need in order to do some of the bigger projects. And then lastly, we're going to be upgrading the furniture in the office. The furniture that's currently in there is falling apart at the corners. That's going to be more of a modern look, and it won't take up as much space, so we're getting a little bit more space back in the office that we could have for when parents come in to fill paperwork. We can have a spot for them to sit down and actually do some of that stuff. The big thing that architects kept telling us throughout all the process was that if you think about the work being done at Euclid and IG, is they're siblings, but they're not twins. The work is going to be similar, but not exact. And you can see, even with the color palettes, our palette is more of that warmer palette, whereas the Euclid has more of the cooler colors to match the school colors. So as you are walking around and as we go through the tour, you can kind of keep that in mind, where it will look very similar, but not necessarily exactly like what you're seeing. And then this is, if you had questions, I mean, there's like a couple here, so we could answer those as we go.
Any questions after that?
So, just going off your last question, why did we go with the cooler colors in other warm colors because.
So it had to do with our school colors. Euclid's colors are blue and gold, and IG's colors are red and gray. So it was matching the school colors. The orange comes from the beak and the talon, because we needed 3 distinct colors for the hallways.
Mhm.
So we pulled colors out of our logos. And then the green color is in both buildings because that's the district color.
What's gonna happen to the music room?
Music is actually going where art is now, so they're just doing a flip-flop. So the music will be kind of isolated next to where the new bathroom is going in, which is good for them because right now it's tough for the classrooms that border the music room because of the sound that comes through the walls. So this will offer a better soundproofing for them to be able to play the instruments and do the things without it impacting other classrooms in the building. So that classroom too will be fully carpeted so that it will also absorb some of the sound. And Ms. Van Eck has requested in lieu of student chairs, we'll have the risers in there all year. So she'll be able to use that space for choir practice, for the music class, for everything that she's doing. And she also will get separate storage, more in line with what she needs for the large drums, the ukuleles, the instruments that she uses within her curriculum.
Great.
Would you like to go for a walk?
Yeah, we can go take a look.